I was at Fullerton College. I had 38 years of recess. I never went to work. I didn't have a job. I had a position. And people would ask me, said, "You got to go to work tomorrow?" I said, "Nope, got to go to school." It's been a labor of love watching our district meeting grow to where we started out with a few hundred people, and now we're pushing 1,000 people every time that we have a meeting. And so there are things in my career that I look back on, like those things, where that I thought, but I did what I felt was the best for the association. My name is Bill Chambers, and I was born and raised in Athens, Alabama, small town in northern Alabama, 6,000 folks. I was a manager in high school. I was only 5'3", 5'4", so I wasn't big enough to compete in anything. Of course, not having any athletic ability kept me from competing too, but so I got interested in athletic training because from a magazine, came out once a month, from Kramer Chemical Company. The Kramers were the ones that started athletic training, and they were the ones that funded the National Athletic Trainers Association. From here on, it's going to be NATA. And so they had a little thing that came out called a First Aider. And my high school coach used to give that to me, and I got interested in athletic training there because I used to just read that time and time again. Then somewhere along the line of my high school days, I read a book about an athletic trainer for the Cleveland Indians. And it was on a paperback book, and I thought, gosh, that would really be neat to do something like that. Because I read what was so I applied to one school, to get in, nothing happened there. So I wrote to Jack Kramer, of Kramer Products, and I told Jack I was interested in becoming an athletic trainer. Where should I go? And he suggested I write to Ken Rawlinson at the University of Oklahoma. Well, I wrote to Ken Rawlinson and told him what I wanted to do and told him my background, stuff like that. And he said, well, he wrote me back and said, if you want to come out, fine, but I don't have can't help you in any way financially or whatever like that. Well, I said, that's okay, fine, I'm coming. So I went to Oklahoma sight unseen. I had no idea. I just knew it was kind of in the southwest or whatever like that. And so I went to the University of Oklahoma, enrolled, didn't know anybody at all or stuff like that. And so worked for Ken. There were 3 student trainers, myself and 2 other people, and Ken Rawlinson. That was the athletic training style in 1955. My grades were not good for my first year, and they were so bad that Ken saved me from getting kicked out of school, and he made me go to study hall with the athletes my sophomore year, which was really degrading. But it was my own fault. But I did make the Dean's Honor Roll and stuff like that, and so the rest is history. I was there at Oklahoma for 4 years with Ken, and at the end I was a head student athletic trainer for 2 years. I worked baseball, and then in my my junior and senior years, I did the track team, where I met Lou Crowell, my dear friend Lou Crowell. And then after I was at Oklahoma for that 4 years, there was an assistant athletic trainer's job opened up at the University of Missouri. And so I went up there, and while I was there was so much hatred between Missouri and Oklahoma. I was kind of like a redheaded stepchild because, they didn't really trust me, but I was still loyal to the Tigers, believe me. And so that's where I met my wife, Elise, right after I had gotten up there, and we were there 3 years before we came to Fullerton College in 1961-62. I was the second athletic trainer that Fullerton JC ever had. The guy before me was only there 1 year, and then I started the sports medicine program and the classes and all that stuff like that. My boss at the time, a guy named Hal Scherbeck, was very kind to me, and he encouraged me to get involved with my professional association because he felt like that anything that I did as far as my profession is concerned, like the Far West Athletic Trainers, NATA or anything like that, was good not only for me, but also for the program. And so like I said, he supported me 110%. Going on in 1962, at the time that I came to California, NATA had 9 districts. And District 8, which is where we are right now, was California, Nevada, Oregon, Washington, and then Idaho. There was 9 districts. And so we were down in Southern California, we were everything was being run for District 8 out of the Bay Area, like Link Kimura, Connie Jarvis at Stanford, and people like that, and Henry Schmidt at Santa Clara. They were running everything out of the Bay Area. Well, I thought, well, shoot, that ain't right. So the very first meeting of the Southern California Athletic Trainers Association was in my backyard at Fullerton. Norm Homus and Tom Ashambo from San Diego were there. Bob Hand from Cal Poly Pomona was there. Gene Donnelly, a high school athletic trainer at Anaheim High School, was there. Ducky Drake from UCLA showed up. Jack Ward from SC showed up. And Roger Dennis, who at the time was at Chapman College, he showed up. Roger was the one, the ATC that we enjoy now as athletic trainers, Roger was the one that got that copyrighted. So he was on the board of directors at the time, and he was pushed to get that ATC copyrighted, so it means athletic trainer certified. And Roger Dennis from District 8 was the one that pushed that through when he was on the board of directors. The Southern Cal meetings for years was made up of four people. Myself, Roger Dennis at Chapman College, Bill Otta at Saddleback College, and Bick Harmon at Mount San Antonio College. And what we would do is we would keep track of all the money, out-of-pocket money we spent, and hopefully we'd get from the Southern Cal meeting, we'd have enough money to pay ourselves back, which we did, and then we'd always have a little bit of a cushion. I don't want to say a slush fund, that's not very good, but we always had a little bit of cushion, and it would go to the Northern meeting. And so one thing led to another, and so we used to have a kind of a Southern Cal meeting. We would invite everybody in the South one year, then the next year we'd go up north. It went back and forth and back and forth. And so they did their thing, we did, but then all of a sudden we thought, this is foolish. Well, then in 1983, we combined the two, and it was the first meeting of the Far West Athletic Trainers Association. And we decided, and let me back up just a little. What happened was we decided to redistrict, and I was the chair of that committee, so we decided that we're going to divide, and we put District 10 was going to be Washington, Oregon, and Idaho, those folks up there. And so what we did, District 8 became California, Nevada, and Hawaii, and Guam. I was the chair of that committee. I didn't realize I was chair of that committee until I started doing some research. Well, at the time, I think it really and truly that Link was ready to kind of get rid of some of the hair and all that, because they had done their thing as far as getting it going. And when we decided to combine the meeting, there was really not that much of a problem. I mean, we got some support from them, but nonetheless, it was for the betterment of the association. We used to be the Pacific Coast Athletic Trainers Association. Now we're the Far West Athletic Trainers Association. I had been NATA president from 78 to 82. I was told at the national meeting in Detroit that I was going to run for president. I said, not me, no friggin' way. I said, I'm not going to do that. They said, oh yeah, we got to do it. And Billy Pickard, a friend of mine from Texas A&M, was my campaign manager. I mean, you didn't say no to Pickard. I mean, that's the kind of a guy he was. And so I ran against a guy from District 6, and I won during the election. And so I thought, what have I gotten myself into? Pinky Newell was the first executive director. He and Harriet Franklin used to run NATA out of her garage in Lafayette, Indiana. And so that's where everything was done. When Pinky was the first there, he was also the head athletic trainer at Purdue. And so he always says, hey, Will, how you doing? And he'd see me, and that's what he would always say. And I always felt the closest to Pinky because of the fact that he was so good to me. Well, right after I got elected president, I thought, what have I got myself into? So I called Pinky. And I said, Pinky, this is Bill. Hey, Will, how you doing? I said, Pinky, help. Have you have any advice for me, having taken over as president? He says, my one thing for you to do, tell you, Bill, and I still live by this, is that he said, if you've got something to do today, find time to do it. Don't put it off till tomorrow, because if you do that, you'll have twice as much to do. Then how are you going to get it done? All NATA presidents have had crisis to deal with. Mine, nothing like Tory Lenry now with the virus and stuff like that. But at the time, the thing that I had to do is I had to get a new chair of the ethics committee, a new chair of the CEU committee, the education committee. And so those were the crises that I had at the time. And so, but you know, we got through it. And so, and that was, but I tell Tory every time, I said, keep doing what you're doing, because you're making all us ex-presidents look really good. But my term as president, I did a lot of traveling. I would go to my boss at Fullerton College and say, hey, Coach, I've got a meeting I need to go to. And he says, is everything covered? I said, yeah. And he says, go. And he said, you know, if you see something they have, anything like that we might be able to use for the football program, let me know, we might be able to get it. Well, I knew how to talk to him, as he was the division dean, athletic director, and football coach. And if I needed something for the training room, I'd talk to him as a football coach, because I knew I'd get it. And so, and I didn't have, but he supported me 110%. And I had a lady, a full-time certified athletic trainer, Wendy Runley, that worked with me. And so she would cover me while I was gone chasing around the country doing whatever like that. When I was NATA president, I was president, and Otho Davis was the executive director. That's when the first NATA building was bought. And I have a picture of us opening the door to the building that was bought there. And after a few years there, a lady named Mary Edgerly ran the association. We moved it to Dallas, and where our headquarters is located right now. But the first building we ever bought was whenever I was president. And that was a big decision to make. There was a disconnect between the membership and the board of directors because they didn't believe anything the directors said. When I came in as president, I made it a point to go to every district meeting, and particularly at the NATA meetings when we had district meetings, and I would go to these and said, let us know what you're thinking. I made it a point to talk to folks and say, hey, let us know your feelings. I may not have the problem, not have the answer to your problem, but we'll find solutions and stuff like that. And so basically, in my 4 years as president, along with some other stuff, I was able to, I think, create a better relationship between the board of directors and the membership, because I remember, and people still say, I remember one time when you were president, you came and I was a student, stuff like that. I'll never will forget, because I used to go to the students. And I said, I'm here, I'm one of you, let me know what we can do to help you is what I can do. So my thing is, let them know that you're willing to listen and try to help them. It really solves a lot of problems. It was a busy time, but the thing of it is that it was a wonderful time in my career as an athletic trainer. And then after I got finished as the president, then I took over the district meeting, and so I ran that for years. So up until about 4 years ago, when Ram Melisarian took over. And Ram is doing things that I could never do because he's a lot smarter than I am. The first District 8 meeting was in Palm Springs, California in August. 120 degrees, air conditioner went out in the hotel. The only place to eat at the time was Tony Roma's in downtown Palm Springs. Now that's just what we wanted to eat, was greasy ribs but from that point in 1983, I was the one that got the first District Far West Athletic Trainer Association meeting. And so since that time, I've been involved with the district meeting up until, well, we got canceled last year. And so it's been a labor of love watching our district meeting grow to where we started out with a few hundred people, and now we're pushing 1,000 people every time that we have a meeting. I've enjoyed doing that. I think I've gotten more out of being a part of that than I've been able to contribute, simply because of the fact it's given me an opportunity to make lasting friendships and stuff like. I could always, getting back to Lou Crowell, at the district meeting, I'd always see Lou, and we'd sit around and talk about the days taking care of track athletes. But that was, watching all the places that we've been over the years and stuff like that. And we've had some pretty good venues, a couple of times in Hawaii, and our meetings have really grown now, where that not only are we have a lot of exhibitors, but we have a lot of stuff as far as helping athletic trainers or whatever like that. So, but I've been very blessed. I was very blessed with having the job that I had at Fullerton College. I had opportunities to move elsewhere, but why? And so I had everything I wanted. I had good athletes and stuff like that. And till this day, I get phone calls from former athletes just to check and see how my wife Elise and I are doing. And those were relationships that just don't happen. And I refer to them as kids. And my wife has said, "You realize how old those kids are? Some of them are 70 years old." And I said, "They're still kids to me because I'm older than they are." So, but I love getting phone calls from them and stuff like that. And some of the relationships I've made over the years with other junior college athletes, and even at the professional level. Right now, I have 3, quote, surrogate brothers, NATA brothers. Jerry Ray, Hall of Famer, used to be with the Atlanta Falcons. Larry Gardner used to be with the Dallas Cowboys. Dean Kleinsmith used to be with the New Orleans Saints. And then me, Bill Chambers, junior college guy. My nickname is JUCO, and I'm very proud of it because I was a junior college athletic trainer, so they nicknamed me JUCO. But there's 4 brothers, and I have pictures on the wall here of the 4 of us, and we love one another. If something happens in our family or something like that, we'll have a brother alert, and we will get in touch with one another. We back one another and stuff like that. And in other professions, you're not going to get that. And you can build relationships and lasting professional relationships. Now, how in the world I got hooked up with those 3 guys and stuff, we don't know how it happened. It just happened. And so there are things in my career that I look back on like those things where I thought, it was not that I did anything wrong, but I did what I felt was the best for the association. I love rodeo and IndyCar racing. I was into both. Rodeo, after I left the presidency in '82, I've always liked rodeo. We had show horses whenever I lived in La Habra Heights. Our kids showed horses, whatever like that. But I've always liked the rodeo athlete. What they have to do to earn the money. If they don't ride, they don't eat. And so a friend of mine, Larry Gardner, one of my brothers, was kind of kicking around this or that, something like that. And he asked me if I would like to do a rodeo as a Justin healer. So he and I started, were 2 of the people that started the Justin Sports Medicine Program team. And so taking care of the rodeo. So after a few years, I was promoted to a program manager where I would cover big rodeos all by myself, and I would get certified athletic trainers to come and help me. And I enjoyed doing that and helping a different type of athlete because there were times, believe it or not, that I would learn little tricks as far as how to tape a certain thing that I'd never even read about in a book. And they were doing competing, so I was able to do that. And then with also a part of the same program, the guy that had started that, we had a sports medicine program and we worked IndyCar racing. I set up the medical center. We went from IndyCar racing and stuff like that. And we didn't do the on-care field stuff, but we would set up and do physical therapy for the drivers and crews and stuff like that. It gave me a different outlook, and I picked up things and stuff like that. And I had some great trips out of it, and I got paid for doing something like that. And I got people involved with that working at different rodeos and stuff like that, and they love it because they're so appreciative of anything that you can do. I can remember that there was a guy named Ty Murray.
Had a good round 181, scoring round number 1, got one coming right here. Oh yeah, he's got his feet on him, hello 90s. Partially dislocated, yikes. Don't be landing on him. It's gonna hurt, I can tell you that, but Probably not going to hear much out of Ty Murray. You just see him pop that shoulder back in. That's real time,
All
folks.
around cowboy for 7 years in a row. And he competed in 3 different events at the National Finals Rodeo. Unbelievable what he went through. And we were taking care of him, stuff like, and 1 year after the rodeo was all over, he came into the training room and he said, shut the door. And all of us athletic trainers, this was after 10 days in Las Vegas, 10 events. And he says, I just want to let you guys know how much I appreciated everything you've done for me and for the Cowboys. And he gave each one of us a silver coin with his picture on there that the MGM granted him. He says, Bill, thank you very much. And he went down and called each of us by name and thanked us. Now, I get goosebumps thinking about that. But I thoroughly enjoyed that. And of all my experiences, I missed Saturday night football. I missed working the rodeos, and with those guys, it wasn't a matter of if they were going to get hurt, it was when and how bad. And I missed the IndyCar racing because they were super people to work with. And it was different. And it wasn't like the mundane things, but I had 38 years of recess at Fullerton College. I never went to work. I was very blessed to get into the California Community College Athletic Hall of Fame. And when I was inducted, Mike Chizar nominated me. Anyway, it was a really overwhelming because here I was, and to be recognized with coaches and stuff like that. It was California Community College Athletic Association. And when I went in, the same night I went in was Tom Flores. He used to coach the Raiders, who just got into NFL Hall of Fame. And we were there and stuff like that. They called us up front. And so I got up and I told them right off the bat. They said, Fullerton College. I said, hey, I'm Fullerton Junior College. My nickname is JUCO. And I'm proud of it because I worked at a junior college. And after I gave my acceptance speech, Tom got up and said, you know, I realized that I'm a JUCO guy too. He said, I feel like that he started out as a junior college guy. And he says, I really like that, Bill. He says, how do you follow something like that? But I just said, I'm a JUCO guy. You know, I like I said, Michael, I have been very blessed. I've got more blessings than I deserve. I've been married almost 60 years, have great friends. It's been a great trip, journey, as far as athletic training is concerned. I can't think of anything that I could have done any better or any worse. Made lots of friends, had lots of fun, had more blessings than I really deserve. And so as far as I just enjoy getting up every morning, and I enjoy whatever the new day holds for me.